Howdy, welcome to a software lesson brought to you by DVDT. Today we're going to look at adding tasks. So first we're going to do an overview of the software. On the right we see that the DVDT RTOS is organized into various folders. The three that we're mainly concerned about is App, Core, and Documentation. Under the App folder you'll find all the tasks that have been created for the DVDT RTOS. If you're needing to do power monitoring, if you want to do power drivers, or use the expansion port, that code's going to be located in your core folder. And last but not least, documentation holds the documentation for our DVDT RTOS. The current RTOS kernel is the sysbios, which is in the TI RTOS environment. It's preemptive with 1,000 ticks per second heartbeat. So this means that 1,000 times per second we'll be checking in and making sure the highest priority task is going to be running. Here's the RTOS architecture overview. We have three tasks: communication, health, and idle. Today we're going to be creating the cloud on the left, which is the user's task. Lastly, before we get into Code Composer Studio, we want to look at the priorities for the RTOS. Our COM task is going to hold our highest priority. Our idle task will of course be our lowest, and in the middle on priority 1 is going to be the user's task. So now that we've covered the system overview, let's go into Code Composer Studio. So you'll want to right click or left click, open Code Composer Studio. Hopefully you have the DVDT RTOS project already imported. Once it has been imported, you'll have your files here. You see it's the same as what it showed in the presentation. So the first thing to do when you want to add a task is you want to open this task.config. So once you open task.config, you'll be brought up to this graphical interface. So this is a graphical interface created by TI that allows you to add and change different modules in sysbios and add tasks and do various different functionalities. So as we see, whenever we click System Overview, here are some of the things that we can do in sysbios. So we can do threads, we can have idle task, we have other tasks, software and hardware interrupts, we have synchronization, memory management, and other various tools. So today we'll be making the task, so we'll click on the under threads, we'll click on task. We'll click over here. Here's some module. This is some just generic stuff about the tasks module, about how tasks are created. But today we're just going to be adding a task today, so we'll go to instance. So here's the two tasks that have been created, calm and health. So we're going to add one. So we'll click add. Now this task has now been added, called task 2. So over here on the right we see we have handle, we have function, and we have priority. So under handle, this is just going to be what the task is called under this graphical interface. So it has nothing to do with what the function will be called, but just an identifier for you. So to change it, we'll call it user task. And so now whenever I click out of it, sysbios will hopefully update. Alright, it's updated, and now we have user's task on the left. So now we have function. This is going to be the actual function that the task is going to be calling every time it runs. So we'll have to create a function, but we'll get to that later. But let's think of a name. We're going to call it user main. So now we've created a function called user main that we're going to make later. We're going to add later and set the priority. As we discussed in the PowerPoint, this task is going to have the priority of 1. Moving over, now that we've created this in the sysbios, this allows our kernel to know that there is a task with the name user main somewhere in our folders in our project. So now we have to make this function so that sysbios knows what task or what function is that task. So we'll go to app, and under users tasks is where all users tasks will be created. So double click this guy, and then here we're just going to make a simple function, naming it the same that we created earlier. Void, make sure that's the right, void user and main are capitalized. let's go ahead and add an underscore. Just so, all right. So we have user main, and in here is where all the code that the task will be run. All right. So now that we've break Trent. Now that we've created the user main, this is the function that's going to hold all the information and all the structure for what our task is going to do. So if I scroll down, here's another user main that had been previously created with while loops and different code to allow you to do different things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this for loop and that wait. I'm going to bring it up to our new user main. Take away that comment. Save it. And now our user main, oh, I forgot the while one. All right. So now we have a function and we have a task that's going to turn our expansion port pins high to low between 10 milliseconds, and then wait 5 seconds and then fly through them again. So thank you for watching this video of how to create a task using the sys BIOS created by DVDT.